shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, and if you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media. So this is my first award season video, finally. Usually I'm way ahead of schedule. But the Critics' Choice Awards nominations, I believe, are on the 4th. That is what this video will be about, my predictions for that award show. The Golden Globe nominations, I think, are the 6th or the 8th, I don't remember, but I'll have I have it written down. I'll have my video for those predictions before they come out, and then my reactions to both of those. Of course, the Independent Spirit Award nominations, I think, are the 3rd, but I probably won't do a prediction video, but I will do a reaction video when those nominees are unveiled. So a lot of crap this week. Like I said, I have it all written down on like a spreadsheet of dates through the rest of award season like I usually do. A lot of stuff coming up, but I had to get a jump on this before I just completely missed it. Let's just get into these Critics' Choice predictions. I have them pulled up on my computer because I'm using my phone as my camera because I have to do a whole thing that's annoying. So let's just start with Best Picture. So let's get the obvious ones out of the way. We have One Battle After Another, Sinners, which I've at least seen both of those, and my vote from what I've seen so far, which is of course not much, would be for One Battle After Another. I thought that movie was fantastic. And Paul Thomas Anderson is so overdue. He has to win at least something this year at the Oscars, I feel. People were saying that for every movie he's made, but this one feels different because this is like a front runner for Best Picture. He's never really had that. The closest thing he's had to that would be There Will Be Blood, and I don't think anyone really thought it was going to win Best Picture at the time. And my favorite movie won that year, No Country for Old Men, so I'm not mad. Then we have, like I said, Sinners. So good year for Warner Brothers. Hamnet, I have in third or second, doesn't matter which one. It's getting nominated. That's what matters. I do have Wicked for Good and next. Like I said, most of these aren't even ranked out after One Battle After Another. It's just the things I think are going to get in. I've heard Wicked for Good is not two for good. It's Wicked for Meh, as I was hoping to do a review called, and I'm probably not going to bother even seeing it in theaters, honestly, at this point. I'd rather rewatch the first one since it's been a year. But I think it'll still get into Best Picture, even if it underperforms overall. Then Marty Supreme, I think, is going to be a strong one. I can't wait to see that. It comes out on Christmas, I believe, in theaters, so hopefully I have a chance to see it in theaters. Same thing goes for Sentimental Value, which is in theaters right now, but like I said, every one of these videos, I have a kid, so it's hard to go see things like Sentimental Value in theaters. I usually have to wait till it comes out on rental or streaming or something. Frankenstein I have in there. That I did get to see because it's on Netflix and it's great. It should have been in theaters, but hey, at least I got to watch it. I'm not complaining. I do have Begonia in there. Critics seem to like it a lot, and this is the Critics' Choice Award, so if it gets in anywhere, it'd probably be here, especially with 10 slots. Next, I have Jay Kelly, which is doing okay, but not as good as it used to, or people like were hoping it would do. But I think it's strong enough to sneak into a top 10 Best Picture thing. And it seems like a movie that the Academy and guilds might go for. And the Critics' Choice, as we all know, often like to just guess what the Oscars are going to do and vote for that. They don't really follow the actual critic circles, which is weird and kind of defeats the purpose, but what are you going to do? And one strong critic film I think we'll get in here, potentially, there's a lot of options, honestly, is I'm going to do No Other Choice, because everyone seems to freaking love that movie who sees it. I'm not one of them, obviously. But it's one that I think it would be cool if it got in, and it would be a little ray of sunshine for that movie overall, as far as like its Oscar chances go. Next, we'll do Best Director. Number one slot, of course, is the hopeful winner, Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson, for One Battle After Another. Next, I have Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Even if he gets snubbed at the Oscars for director, which I think is a thing that can easily happen, given the snootiness of the director's branch, he will absolutely get in probably everywhere else, except for maybe BAFTA. But we won't know until after the Oscar nominations on that one. But then we got Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. Those are the top three, I'd say, as far as like things that can win stuff. Marty Supreme for Josh Safdie for Best Director. I have number 4. Number 5, I have Sentimental Value. Joachim Trier. I think he'll probably get into the Oscars. He's probably the second most likely international director at the Oscars. I think It Was Just an Accident is as likely or more likely to get in for Best Director, even if it doesn't get in Best Picture. And last but not least, at sixth, I have everyone's favorite guy. Like, who doesn't love this guy? Guillermo del Toro. Even if you don't like his movies, he's just a sweetheart. Let's be honest. For Frankenstein, this is a place I think you can get in. The director lineup is pretty all over the place, which is fun. Several things that could happen for a director. And Guillermo, I think, will pop up here and there, probably in the earlier races like Golden Globes in here. So, as of today, I have Guillermo del Toro. I don't expect to do well on these. Let's just get that out of the way. Best lead actor. We'll do that next. I have Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. This might be his year. Is he too young? Is he overdue? He's in that weird gray area where they're kind of both correct. But he is that movie. It's like a damn near 3-hour long movie. And I hear he's in like pretty much every single scene of it. And it's a powerhouse performance. He's been nominated twice before at the Oscars. Came close to winning, you could argue, both times. He was probably in second place both years that he was nominated. So if he's in a movie that gets nominated in every other category, he could be the big win for that movie, even if it doesn't get anything else. And that would be cool. If it's a good movie and he deserves it, I'm all for it. He's a great actor. Next, we have his mentor, you could say, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. He gets snubbed a lot for things that you think he would get into, like, Kiss of Flower Moon. Is that the right name of the movie? Is that Killers of the Flower Moon? There we go. I can't remember things. I'm mixing up Kiss of the Spider Woman, which I don't know why. No one cares about that. But he's great in this movie. Like, it's one of the more dynamic performances I've seen from him, where he's very dramatic, very funny, he's very weird. He's a lot of everything, which a lot of DiCaprio performances is a lot of yelling and screaming, and people kind of give him the business for that. This is one of the most unique performances I've seen from him, and that's why I think he deserves to get in for more than some other movies he may have missed for. So if he wins a second Oscar for this, no one's going to complain, because it's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's be honest. Third, I have Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Sinners is a movie that I think is going to do great in the craft categories, regardless of how well it does in director and actor and things like that. It could get in everywhere. It could be just like Black Panther and get Best Picture and a bunch of crafts. So, and it just happens to be Ryan Coogler. But I think he'll get in pretty much all the precursors. I think he'll get in Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, probably SAG. It's BAFTA and the Oscars that I'm worried for Mr. Jordan. But I would like to see him get in, because he plays two roles, which is cool. That hasn't happened since, I believe, Adaptation with Nicolas Cage, who is amazing in Adaptation. Go watch Adaptation. I love it. But he's great in Sinners. Like, everyone was wondering if it would be like a supporting actor play, supporting actress, but then by the time it comes around, everyone's like, yeah, why not? Why isn't it just Michael B. Jordan who gets in for it? And it makes the most sense to me. So yeah, Michael B. Jordan getting his first acting Oscar nomination for a movie that was a massive hit, and it's an original film. Original enough anyways. It's not a remake or a adaptation of something. Let's put it that way. Next, I have Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. He seems like one that could sneak into every race just based on being a damn good actor and an interesting performance. I would love him to get a lead acting nomination. I don't think he ever has. Like, trying to think in my head. I think he's been nominated in supporting twice, and for screenplay once, or maybe twice, for the Before trilogy or whatever, but never for lead. And he's a great actor. He probably should have gotten in for a few years ago for the movie that I can't think of off the top of my head, where he played the priest. You'll tell me in the comments. I can't remember. I'm not going to look it up right now. First Reformed, is that what it is? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he looks great in Blue Moon. Just like, he's playing like a guy who's like a foot shorter than he really is, and it's a big transformational thing. He's an overdue actor, you could say, for at least this category. So, hell, he could be an underdog to win it if everyone loves his performance enough. But it's a tough year. Next, I have Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. I obviously have not seen this. I don't get to go to film festivals and screenings. I'm stuck in the tundras of Minnesota. I don't get to go to things. or have things released near me, or the time to go see 3 hour long international films, like I said before. But I'm just going with the flow here. Everyone thinks he's going to potentially win the Golden Globe drama because that category is kind of weak compared to comedy, because that's where all the potential Oscar winners are sitting. And yeah, it's the strong play for that movie. It could get nothing else but actor and probably international film, and it'll have a good day. Sixth, I'm going with the little engine that could, because train jokes. Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, another actor who's never been nominated for really anything, and he's always really solid. And this movie's on Netflix, so I have no excuse to not watch it, and I will watch it very shortly. And it's a reasonable length. Unlike everything else this year that's 3 hours long, this movie, I believe, is under 2 hours, which is a breath of fresh air. And it looks gorgeous. The cinematography looks amazing. I think it'll sneak into a few craft categories, maybe squeak into Best Picture 10 at the Oscars anyway, if it gains some steam because train jokes. And why not Joel Edgerton at number 6? I'm kind of being hopeful and trying to boost a couple of underdogs here, as if it actually matters. Lead actress, though Jessie Buckley apparently already won, so I'm just going to put her at number 1. Cynthia Erivo I have at number 2. Not that she's second most likely to win, but she'll probably get nominated. Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value seems like a fair bet. It seems like a actor, writer, heavy movie, regardless of what else it gets. Emma Stone for Begonia, because I hear she's amazing in it. Same goes for Jesse Plemons. I almost said Jessie Buckley again, who I didn't have in my actor 6. But, I wouldn't be surprised if they came in as a pair and got snubbed as a pair. It all depends on how much they like Begonia, but everyone loves Emma Stone. And she gets everything. Why not her? Rose Byrne. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. This is the movie that everyone's been talking about her performance all year long. And she's a very overdue, undervalued actress who's been in a million things for decades. And everyone likes, and everyone seems to like to work with her. And even if it's the only nomination for that movie, I think she'll get in at least a few places. And this is an easy one because it's a very criticky-friendly movie. So Critics' Choice Awards make sense. And then number 6, I think One Battle After Another is going to get all the things. So why not Chase Infinity? Let her get in here. Let her get a nomination early on in the year. And this is one I think she could easily get, given the fact that there's 6 slots. So, I'll be a one battler. If she doesn't get in here or at the Globes, then I think her Oscar chances are basically dead. Never say never, but she has to get in at least these 2 easier to get into, per se, precursors to have a chance. So, and not just in the best youth performance, which I think she'll probably just fucking steamroll those this year. Supporting actor, we have Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. He's amazing in this. I don't necessarily want him to win at the Oscars because he already has 2. I'll be one of those guys. He has 2 lead actor Oscars. If he's a guy with 3 Oscars, not many people are going to bitch because he's an amazing actor and he actually deserved the ones he won. So that would be very cool. But everyone, I don't know why I keep saying that. Even though I have not seen the film, just out of principle, would love to see Stellan Skarsgård win all the things for Sentimental Value, because he is a beloved actor who's been in the game for decades, damn near 40 years at this point. And he's never really gotten anything awards-wise for it. So if he could win on his first nomination after all these years, I don't think anyone would complain. Even if they prefer Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, no one's going to be mad Stellan Skarsgård won an Oscar. So I'm rooting for Stellan. Unless I fucking hate that movie, which I doubt, or in his performance, I want him to win. Just because I love Stellan Skarsgård so much. And I hope everyone else has that same feeling. So, number 3, I have Paul Mescal for Hamnet. He's on that category fraud borderline. So it's smart for him to go supporting, easier to get in, potential win. If Hamnet does gangbusters, who knows? He could squeak in there and get a win or 2 along the way. BAFTA for sure, I wouldn't be surprised. But from what I've heard, Hamnet is a beautiful film. I've seen the trailers and all that. It looks lovely. So, and apparently it gives you all the feelings. Number 4, I have the other One Battle supporting actor, Benicio del Toro. He's just a beloved actor in a movie that everyone loves and everyone has seen. Why not? He could easily get in. I don't think his performance is as showy, obviously, as anyone else's, especially Sean Penn. But that's kind of the charm of it, is that he's just kind of doing his thing, and everyone loves him anyways, and he just brings a charm to the movie that no one else really does. So, and everyone loves Benicio, myself included. Number 5, I have Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, or The Monster of Frankenstein. Uh, I think he'll get in to a few of the precursors because he's kind of a hope prediction for the Oscars. I really do. I hope he gets in. It's a cool performance in a cool movie that'll get in a handful of nominations, regardless of if he gets in Best Picture or Director or not. And it's an interesting performance. It's the thing people are talking about the most from that movie, and it has a lot of things to talk about. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got in. And it was impressive because he was kind of a last minute addition to that movie. Like Andrew Garfield was going to play him. And then, like weeks before they started shooting, he dropped out and they got Elordi in there. And I remember being disappointed because I love Andrew Garfield. But seeing the final product, I think it was a better fit for the monster, to be honest. And I love Andrew Garfield. So, and number 6, I'll give it to the Sandman, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly. If he can't get in here, or the Globes, he can't get in anywhere else. Let's put it that way. So I'll give him some love at these early precursors. Supporting actress, I have Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. Even people who are not as hot on this movie as the first, basically everyone agrees that she's the best thing in the movie, which doesn't hurt. She arguably should have won last year. I'm whatever. Let's not talk about Amelia Perez if we don't have to. But it'll be a shame if this movie's just not as well regarded and she loses for this when she easily could and or should have won for the first. It sort of kind of puts a damper on that whole thing. But I don't care. She's a lead actress in a supporting category, so I don't want her to win. I don't hate category fraud, but when it's like blatant like this, when it's literally 2 co-leads and they're like, you go there. And yeah, I don't prefer that. If it's like borderline, I can deal with it. But when it's like blatant category fraud, I kind of don't want that person to win usually, regardless of if I like the performance or not. Number 2, I have Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another, a true supporting performance, who's only in the first 20, 30 minutes of that movie, and she sticks in your head the whole rest of the way. I would love if she ends up winning a thing or two this year, but regardless, she's getting in no matter what. Amy Madigan's for Weapons. Please, everyone on the interwebs wants this to happen. She's a former nominee 40 years ago. If she gets nominated at the Oscars again, she will have broken Judd Hirsch's record of the longest gap between 2 nominations, in the same category as well. So let's make some history, and please, if she wins, holy God, like anything, if she wins anything this year, that's going to be the highlight of the evening. And she's an amazing actress, and if you don't know that's her in that movie, I don't blame you. So 4 and 5, I have the sentimental value ladies. At least one of these girls is going to get in here. Elle Fanning and Inga Itzbader-Lilius. I'm going to say her name wrong, but that was pretty close, I think. It was daughter Lilius. Apparently, Elle Fanning's a little more famous, more well-known. No argument there. Inga apparently has the better performance, though. So because of that, one or the other might get in. Or they just both get in because they're both so damn good, and the movie gets in all the performances because it could get 4 acting nominations, and no one will blink an eye. So I'll just have them both in, especially with 6 slots, and we'll see what happens. Number 6, I put Gwyneth Paltrow for Marty Supreme, sort of for the sentimental value argument of she's the least interesting supporting actress person in that movie. But she's the most famous, and she hasn't been nominated since she won for Shakespeare in Love a million years ago. So I think she could just get in based on that. All right, now I'm just going to go in alphabetical order of other categories, so it's easier to keep track of. Animated film, I have K-Pop Demon Hunters at number 1, because everyone's seen this a million times, so why not? It'd be a cool win. It's a deserved thing. It's a very fun movie. It's catchy. It sticks in your head for weeks because the music's fantastic, and the movie is pretty adorable, and that doesn't hurt. And it's a very fun animation style like Spider-Man because it's a Sony animation film. Next, I have Zootopia 2, which I did go see. And it was way better than I thought it would be, to be honest. I don't know if I like it quite as much as the first one, but, time will tell on that. it's a very good movie and it was very funny. So Zootopia 2, I would say, deserves to get in because it's a Disney sequel, which they usually don't go for at the Oscars very often, unless you're Toy Story. But given the year we've had of Disney animated films, Zootopia 2, I think, is far and away the best one. So people actually like it. People are actually going to go see it. Why not? Especially with 6 slots at Critics' Choice. 3, I have Arco from Neon. I don't know anything about this movie, but it looks lovely. Little Amelie from G Kids. Those movies sneak in a lot. They like to put in a couple international animated films in there. And then 5th place, this one only has 5 for some reason, but whatever, is In Your Dreams, which I think is now on Netflix. And it's a very interesting looking movie. It's about kids lost in various dreamlands. It looks very cool. I'll probably watch it with the family soon. Let you know what I think on my next prediction video where it shows up. But it looks like a cool enough movie. Netflix often gets in an animated movie. Not every year, but they've had a handful. Like Klaus probably should have won that year. It did win a couple things here and there. And then they had that sea monster one, which wasn't even good. And that somehow snuck in. So, and this one at least looks interesting. So I think In Your Dreams could get in there. But honestly, I think this is K-pop Demon Hunters to lose, and everyone else is just there to be there. Cinematography, I have Sinners at number 1. Not necessarily going to win. Like I said, these are just nominations, predictions. They're not very ranked, I'll be honest. One Battle After Another. Hamnet, which looks like it's a sure thing. Frankenstein is gorgeous. That deserves to get in. Marty Supreme, I've heard, has beautiful cinematography. And so I think that could get in. Train Dreams at number 6 looks beautiful. This looks like a thing that could just get cinematography and everyone would be like, yeah, that's fair. Best comedy film, which I keep forgetting is a thing. One Battle After Another, of course. Wake Up Dead Man from Netflix, which I don't know if it's going to get into the screenplay category, but we'll see. I kind of skipped the screenplays, didn't I? I meant to do those first, but we'll get there. Marty Supreme, Bugonia, Jay Kelly, and No Other Choice. So it's almost a Best Picture category with Wake Up Dead Man shoved in there. I had Naked Gun on here, but I swapped it out for No Other Choice. I want Naked Gun to get in because it's like the only actual comedy, like straight up hilarious, stupid comedy of the year, and it deserves to get in here, in my opinion. So I hope that gets nominated, but as far as criticky picks, that's what I'm going for. Costumes, Wicked for Good obviously is going to get in there. Frankenstein, I hope, wins because I don't want the same costumes and production design from Wicked to win the second year in a row. Sure, it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's all the same, like, style and stuff. So I'd rather have something more unique and original win, like Frankenstein. Or Sinners. Sinners had a very good costume design, period costumes. Hamnet, anything period is good. Testament of Anne Lee, same goes for that. And Marty Supreme, all these are period films, essentially. Period and fantasy, or both when it comes to Frankenstein. And Sinners, I guess. So I think those are good guesses. Very few contemporary films get in here, so those seem like fair costume guesses to me. Best editing, I have One Battle After Another, because, of course, Sinners, very well edited. Marty Supreme, I'm just going based on what I've heard, and the fact that if it gets into Best Picture, Director, and Acting, and all the other things, usually it'll get into editing as long as it's not dog shit. Hamnet, and the F1 will be the non-Best Picture nominee in here. Top Gun Maverick style, of course. And it seems deserved. I haven't had a chance to see that, but I'll watch it hopefully by the end of the year, especially if it gets into categories. The 4K is pretty cheap right now. I should just buy it. It's like $12 for Black Friday. But it looks good. The editing looks not like the most impressive thing in the movie, though. I'll get to that in a minute. And then No Other Choice, I hear, has amazing editing, and that's one of its more likely nominations outside of international film. So I put that in there as well. Editing is always a good category. It's always interesting. Best Ensemble. I don't think I did that yet. I have Sinners at number 1. That's, I think, is on purpose. One Battle After Another. Amazing. Could easily win as well. Wicked for Good. Huge cast. Great cast. Marty Supreme. Hamnet. And Jay Kelly. So they're all at least a handful of actors in each movie. Hamnet is like borderline two-hander, I think. But there's enough supporting players in there to get in there. Jay Kelly's got at least 4 massive actors as part of that ensemble. so on and so forth. But yeah, those seem like good ensemble bets. Foreign language film might have sentimental value. It was just an accident, no other choice, and The Secret Agent, all from Neon. So there's a legitimate chance that Neon could get 4 international films into Best Picture this year. It won't happen, but the fact that it could happen is pretty impressive. I think it could easily get at least 2. I'll put it that way. I think the top 2 here, sentimental value and it was just an accident, I think will get director. I think they're all going to get a couple nominations. It's just whether or not they get Best Picture is the thing. And then I put The Voice of Hind Rajab at number 5 and Sound of Falling at number 6. I haven't seen any of these movies, like I said, I'll be honest. But the bottom 2 are there just from I've heard good things reasons. And the top 4 are there because it's going to get in somewhere reasons. So good guesses. Sentimental value will get the most nominations. Above the line, anyway, of any of those movies. So that right there is why it's number 1. Hair and makeup. I have Frankenstein on the top. Not necessarily I think it's going to win, but it definitely deserves to get nominated. The creature effects in that movie are very unique and impressive. And then you got all the period hair and makeup and such that look great. Wicked for Good, obviously, especially with this said Straw Man. Scarecrow, same difference. And the Tin Man, there we go. Those are what they're called. They look very cool, very interesting, despite how they look after the movie was filmed. If you look at just the production stills of the makeup, they look very impressive. So I think it'll at least get nominated. Sinners, I could see getting in because vampires. And, it looked pretty good. Smashing Machine, I think this will be the one thing it gets, regardless of if The Rock gets in or not. Because he probably won't outside of the Globes, where there's 2 categories. But he could get in here. I won't be totally shocked. But I think the makeup is damn impressive. Like, just from the production stills a year ago before the movie even came out, I was like, holy shit. I did not recognize him at all. 5, I have Weapons, because if you got Amy Madigan in there, you got the makeup in there, they go together a lot. So I'm going to do that. And it'd be nice if it gets at least 1 more nomination on top of Amy Madigan to help her chances, if anything. And then 6th, I have 28 Years Later, because zombies are cool. I don't know what else to put, to be honest. We'll see how that category shakes out. But, the more horror, the better. Production design, I have Wicked for Good, because the first one won. Like I said, I hope it doesn't win, but it'll get in. Frankenstein will be my hope diction for the win. It's very likely, it seems like, at this point. The movie's just getting more popular as it goes, which is not going to hurt it. 3, I have Sinners. A lot of people kind of poo-poo the production design because it's just a barn, which is not wrong, but it's a damn good barn in little town. It's still good production design, and it's in a big popular movie that's going to get into Best Picture, so why not? Hamnet, Shakespearean era production design and costumes, it'll get all those things. Avatar, Fire and Ash. I believe the first one, I think, won production design, which I always think is funny because it's all CG. So it's like, is it really production design? But I guess it is. Whatever. And I think the second one got in and didn't win. So this is one of the more likely categories for this movie to get in. I wouldn't be surprised if it got nothing but visual effects, even if it is a $2 billion movie, because people are just like, oh, it's all the same at this point. And then number 6, I have Marty Supreme. Because, period films get into production design and costumes. What can I say? I think the top 2 here are in it to win it. Best score. I have Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another, Max Richter for Hamnet. Alexandre Desplat used to get nominated all the time, but now it seems like he only gets in if it gets into Best Picture, which I think Frankenstein will. And then I have Daniel Lopatin for Marty Supreme. I've just heard good things. Tristan Fendrix for Begonia, same goes there. And he got in for Poor Things, I believe. Sure. Most of these, like I said, are just I've heard good things, or I have seen them. Like, I've seen half of these, and they have great scores. So, 50-50. Here's the screenplay. We'll do adapted first. Paul Thomas Anderson's probably going to win at least screenplay for One Battle After Another, even if he misses picture and director, which would be lame, let's be honest. But he should have won screenplay damn near 30 years ago for Boogie Nights, in my opinion. And then we have Chloe Zhao, Maggie O'Farrell for Hamnet. Park Chan-wook and the other writers are cut off, so I'm not going to look into that, sorry. For No Other Choice. This way, even if it doesn't get into Best Picture, Park Chan-wook will have an Oscar nomination because if it gets into foreign film, he technically isn't nominated for that because it goes to the country, not the director, because that's stupid. But yeah, hi Kitty. Everyone's running in here now. But no other choice. Will get into adapted screenplay, even if it doesn't get into Best Picture. And I'm talking about at the Oscars also. I have Will Tracy for Begonia, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein because it's just a beloved movie that's going to get in a lot of places, and everyone loves Guillermo. And then I got Train Dreams in here for Clint Bentley and Greg Quadar. Uh, it could get a little package of. It could just get screenplay, cinematography, and picture. It has a good score, I've heard. It could get into score easily. Got Joel Edgerton in there for actor. You got William H. Macy for a surprise supporting actor if that movie gets enough passion. So there's enough in there to give it a Best Picture package, even if it just gets screenplay. Original screenplay, we've got Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I think he's probably going to win that. It would be cool at least if he gets something, even though it's probably not going to be my favorite movie of this category. But at the moment, it's one of the only couple I've seen. Sentimental Value for Joachim Trier and Eskil Vogt. It's going to be a writing and acting movie, like I said. Even if it doesn't get director, it'll get writing and screenplay. Or acting and screenplay. There we go. Marty Supreme for Josh Safdie, Ronald Bronstein at number 3. Unless you just don't like Safdie style, again, like with Uncut Gems, which was great. We'll see. I just feel bad for Benny Safdie at this point. Number 4, I have Zach Crager for Weapons. It's another thing that can only help it get in. I could actually see Weapons getting in at the Critics' Choice Awards for Best Picture and or like PGA because it was such a massive success. And that's the kind of stuff they like there, especially if it has some pedigree to it, like this movie may. So, once again, if it gets a screenplay and an actor in there and makeup, it could get Best Picture. It's not insane, and it would be awesome. Weapons was fucking great. I liked it. I saw that. It was just an accident for Jafar Panahi. There, I couldn't think of his name earlier. I think he'll get in at director at the Oscars, even if he doesn't get in anywhere else. And Jay Kelly for screenplay for Noah Baumbach and Emily Mortimer. It just seems like a screenplay thing. Noah Baumbach, usually he gets in for screenplay more than anywhere else. And I think it'll be the same for that film, even if it doesn't get into picture or lead actor or even supporting actor. I think it could get screenplay. Song. This is a tricky one because there's like multiple movies with multiple songs that could get in, so it's kind of funny. I Lied to You from Sinners. Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters. That's not even my favorite song in that movie, but that seems to be the one they're pushing the hardest. And that could easily get in and win. So, No Place Like Home from Wicked. Girl in the Bubble from Wicked. That's Ariana and Cynthia's songs. So even if it misses some nominations, I think it'll get at least one song nomination in there. And it would be cool if Cynthia won for her best song, because then she'll get her EGOT, and all that fun stuff. And it'd be a way to give her an Oscar without having to give her Best Actress, too, which is a bonus. And then I have Last Time I Seen the Sun from Sinners. It's one of these will get in. And then 6th, I actually put Train Dreams from Train Dreams, because the Diane Warren song, I think, will get in at the Oscars. I had it on here, and I've swapped it for Train Dreams just because, I'm hoping, and I'm just trying to not give Diane Warren free points for existing. But the fact that it's a Diane Warren song for a movie about Diane Warren with her name on it, I think she'll get in at the Oscars regardless of what else gets in. But there's at least 2, up to 3, if they want to go hard on K-Pop Demon Hunters movies in here could get multiple song nominations. So it's a good year for original songs. Like usually this is the category that sucks, and they're like scraping the bottom of the barrel. But this year you could get 5 damn good songs, even if they only come from 3 different movies. Sound design. Here's where F1 could be the champion. Very good movie for sound design. This is the one thing that Top Gun won, I believe. So could repeat that. I forgot that was Warner Brothers too, because this is Apple and Warner Brothers or something like that. Warner Brothers had a fucking great year. The top 3 here are Warner Brothers. Sinners. Good sound. I won't say it's win-worthy, but it is very, very good. One battle after another. Fantastic sound throughout. Good variety of different kinds of sound. Wicked for Good musicals. They get in there. Avatar, Fire and Ash. Big blockbuster technical movie with a lot of sound design and sound editing. Could get in there. Same goes for Frankenstein. So I think those could be movies that get in. Something like Warfare could sneak in there. just because of its just damn good work. But the fact that it'll probably only get in there hurts it. So I'll go with these 6 for now. Stunt design, which, like I said, is finally going to be at the Oscars soon. We have Mission Impossible because, of course, F1 because driving cars is hard. And that's a lot of real racing in that movie. So kudos for them. Wicked for Good, sure. He got in SAG for stunts, so why not again? One battle after another. It has a lot of action, a lot of running and jumping and fleeing and gunfights and all that kind of junk. So it's got a little bit of everything. And then Sinners, I think, could get in there easily, especially for the latter half of the film. Of course, during the From Dusk Till Dawn twist. And then Superman, because everyone likes Superman, and it's probably going to get in somewhere at these awards along the way. And that's actually a good one for it. A lot of good action. You know, I've seen the behind the scenes of the flying scenes, and that's stunts. That's what stunts is. It's not just all explosions and getting blown through windows like Tom Cruise. A lot of it is behind the scenes stuff like that too. So Superman could sneak in there. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. But I want to see Superman get something along the way. I like that movie. It's another Warner Brothers movie too. So hey, go Warner Brothers. Visual effects. I have Avatar because, of course, probably going to win all the visual effects things. Although I'm kind of just like sick of the same thing over and over again. So maybe that's just me. Wicked for Good. Sure, why not? I got on the first time, even though it probably didn't deserve it in my opinion. Superman, I think, will get into the visual effects categories. A lot of it's very comic booky, but it looks perfect as you're watching the movie. I think it looks fantastic. F1, I think this is like its best category, honestly. I watched a behind the scenes thing of F1's visual effects on the Corridor Crew channel. I can talk. Corridor Crew channel. Go watch those. They go behind the scenes on a lot of visual effects. F1's was surprisingly impressive, even more than I expected. Fantastic Four for Steps. I thought like 95% of that movie looked outstanding. This is a movie I would love to see get into production design, but I just don't think it's going to happen. It's not fancy enough for their taste, but visual effects is a place it can get into. And then we got Mission Impossible down at number 6 because the last one got in, kind of a surprise nomination for visual effects at the Oscars. So I think it could at least get in here with 6 slots. And last but not least, we have Young Artist. I have Miles Caton for Sinners. Jacoby Jupe for Hamnet. I've heard he's amazing, especially for a kid as young as he is. Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. I think she probably has the edge to win because she could also get nominated for Best Actress. So I'm putting my money on her. Carrie Christopher for Weapons. That kid was pretty good in that movie as well. Mason Thames, How to Train Your Dragon. That kid's been all over the... I could see him winning just based on his body of work, too. I didn't even think of that. And Alfie Williams for 28 Years Later. As much as I like seeing the younger people get highlighted, I think it kind of detracts from the performance if they're just in this category. I'm not a huge fan of young performance categories because it just gives people an excuse to not nominate them in the main categories, which is what I hope doesn't happen to Chase Infinity and even Miles Caton. He's fantastic in Sinners. But good for these young actors for having a shot at the spotlight, you know? That's everything, I think, for at least everything I have, so deal with it. I'll be doing my Golden Globe predictions sooner than later. Probably try to do those like Monday or Sunday. We'll see. I don't know what day it is anymore. I think it's Friday, right? I've been off. It's a weird week. So yeah, here's first of many award season prediction videos. I'll do my reactions to the nominees some way, somehow, probably recording, just watching them or reading them off the screen like this I'm doing. Once again, my name is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and channel memberships and merch are available on TeePublic and Spreadshop stores.